Hello everybody, my name is Big Boy Buchanan. You might know me from the Broadway production, The Braxton Boys. Now, I'm filling in today for Kevin Chevalier. He's a well-known paranormal author, and he does this, what do you call it, a podcast called Game and Chat? Or is it Great? It's Game and Chat. It says here, it's on this sticky note, it's Game and Chat. And I'm a big fan. Any of you who follow my work will obviously know that I care a lot about the paranormal as well. So, he asked me to come on today because he's going out with his brother. He's apparently doing some Nosferatu hunting, is what he told me. And, you really got to watch out for those big old bloodsuckers. So, I'm all for them. So, the point of today is, as anyone who knows me, I really do care about the paranormal. I do a lot of research, and I've seen a lot of stuff myself. I'm a big Broadway actor, and I can get underneath the skin of a lot of big details. But the most important thing I think I can tell to the people who listen to these videos is the sort of things they can avoid in day-to-day life. There's all the big spooky monsters that Kevin Chevalier talks about. There's the shadow government that he talks about. There's aliens. But there's a lot of other things going on. I don't know if you've heard about the One World Order, the Illuminatis, things like that. And there's a lot of kernels of truth in those sorts of movements. So there's a lot of things you can do in your life to avoid the ploys that these globalists want to feed you and your family to keep yourself safe. Some of them are obvious, to avoid chemtrails. You got to line your windows, line the inside of them. You put plastic bags over the window, and then you cover every inch of them with duct tape, and that'll prevent both. They use spies, drones, and satellites, and you don't want them looking in your house, but it'll also keep out a lot of the chemtrail gas. Don't go outside for too long of periods if you know that there's a plane flying over. I can't remember the name of the site right offhand, but there's a website where you can track the flights of planes going over where you live. So if any odd planes fly over, you want to stay inside for 4 to 6 hours after a chemtrail dropper goes by. But that's like I said, that's obvious. There's things like if the government ever passes, if they ever start making chips that you can put into your hand or your head, obviously that's a bad sign. Some would say it's the Antichrist. Some would say it's a tracking tag. It's bad news. Even if you have to work around society when they pass these, because a lot of people think when that happens, they're going to phase out all other forms of payment. But you got to avoid that shit. But there's a lot of things that people might not know as much about. First is fluoride. It's a chemical they used in the MK Ultra experiments. The government, they've even admitted they did it. They even admitted that they did the MK Ultra. So fluoride, it's used in dental places, so try and go to places where they don't use fluoride in their dental care, or just take care of your teeth yourself with non-fluoridated toothpaste. You can get it. You go online and you search for non-fluoridated toothpaste, and you'll find it. Non-fluoridated mouthwash, non-fluoridated dental floss, and keep your health to yourself. Apple a day keeps the government at bay. Anyway, fluoride is nasty stuff. It opens you up to a lot of both government mind control waves and beams, and also subliminal advertisements and orders that are put over basic TV, radio, internet. And you're able to avoid most of them, but fluoride, it lowers your sensitivity, it heightens your sensitivity, and it lowers your resistance. That's what I meant to say to a lot of these things. And fluoride, you remove the E and replace it with an A, and it's Florida. And that's not a coincidence. If you look at Florida, you see all the crazy news there, the people eating each other's faces, crazy crimes. Florida has the world's largest rollout of fluoridated water. That's right. The government and most of the United States puts fluoride in the water. Don't use public supplied water. Dig a well. Build your own well. Fill it up with non-fluoridated water. And you'll be safe. You'll be a lot safer for your family. Only buy bottled water that you know doesn't have fluoride in it. And it doesn't go just that far. There's a lot of bad chemicals in most processed food. Most fast food places, most things you can buy, only buy organic, locally sourced food. That's the only stuff that's safe. And definitely avoid corn syrup, corn sugar, whatever they call it, high fructose corn syrup. And also hydrogenated oil. Who knows what hydrogenated means, but it's a lie. The USDA, the department of the FDA, they're part of the government. Everyone knows you can't make syrup from corn. Corn syrup isn't what it says it is. It is a bad chemical. You don't want that. So most big companies don't eat from them. Only eat organic, and you'll live a lot longer, you'll find out. There are some exceptions. Some fast food restaurants, some restaurants you can go to are safe. They've been investigated. You can eat at Cici's Pizza, Golden Corral, most Chinese buffets, not stuff like Panda Express, but, local run by a single family Chinese places, and also Taco John's, which is a chain that's in most of the Midwest that sells tacos. You can use those, but it's the same sort of thing that's been going on for centuries upon centuries. The government controlling the food sources to control the people. You look back to ancient Egypt, the pyramids, they were grain storage facilities. The pharaohs, they held those facilities, and only the good citizens were allowed to eat the grain inside. And that's another thing you really have to worry about. Owls, they're another thing. If you ever see a barn owl, be afraid. They look like gray aliens, and it's not a coincidence. They're spies used by the One World Order to watch and spy on and terrify people. And though people who have too much fluoride in their systems, who are being fed too much of this gross chemicals, who are inhaling these chemtrail chemicals, they will sometimes, in the dead of night, all these chemicals working around their brain, they'll see one of these barn owls, and they'll just see it as a barn owl. But the people who keep themselves safe from the government can see these things for what they really are. Little gray men with these terrifying faces, these blank, big-eyed faces, and they don't even hide the owls that much, barn owls. They look just like them. And that's not a coincidence. So if you ever see a barn owl or a gray, stay away. And that's another reason why you should cover your windows with plastic, and then cover the plastic completely with duct tape, so they can't even look inside with those spies, on top of all the other uses. The one world government is terrifying. The shadow government, whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati, they're terrifying people. They do all sorts of things that go undiscovered by the general public. The Mariana Trench? They say, oh, it's 2 miles deep. No one can ever go down there. Don't even try. It's super dark and scary and spooky, and you'll die if you dive too deep. They're lying. It's actually an area where they have tons of underwater one world government facilities that they use to research cloning, all sorts of bad stuff, to continue their stranglehold on the government. This has been going on since the 1960s. They've had 56 years to work on these devious, disgusting works that they do, and you don't hear about it anywhere, and it's just disgusting. So I think the people that do listen to the Game and Chat videos should really know these sorts of things and take precautions to keep themselves safe. Own a gun if you can. Not everywhere is America. But if you can get your hands on a gun, even if you have to go through rigorous testing, even if you're in Canada, even if you're in Germany, if you can get your hands on a gun any way you can, do it. Because it's the only way that you keep yourself safe. There are enough people out there protesting these governments that someday there's going to be a war, and you have to keep yourself safe. So, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this quick episode, Have a nice